The limousines, transport truck, and multiple security cars reached the airport without any incidents. The cargo may be dangerous, but according to the record, it was kept safely in storage for the past 10 years. Plus, it is worthless to the average person. Because of this, the people involved in the security don't look tense. Kirijo-san's hands are surfing her travel bag. It's almost as if she's simply going on vacation.
Yakushima.
The plane's destination is to one of the Southern Island. I'm sure it'd be fun to go with everyone. I realize what I'm thinking and have to laugh for myself. A year ago, I never would have considered that it would be fun to spend time with others. But I can't help but think that way now. Soon I began moving the cargo out of the truck. I clear my mind of my daydreams and look back to the truck. I pass through the gates for large cargo shipments. The shipment is in imposing metal cases, but among all other shipping containers, it doesn't attract much attention from the airport staff. It's not long before the final case is unloaded from the truck. It's obviously different from the rest. It's covered in what seems to be heavy, industrial-grade steel. It's about a meter wide and a broad and a 2.5 meter tall. It looks like something very special is in there, but even if someone was tracking the shipment, it would be impossible to steal that. A man in suit slowly tipped the case sideways to place it on the cart. Then on its side reminds me of something. It looks like a coffin. The moment I realize that, a shiver runs down my spine. It doesn't look big enough to have room for a person to lie down in. Could there really be a person inside it? Could it be that this tight security is not to prevent theft, but to keep the cargo from escaping? No, how can I imagine things like this without any proof? I shake my head to clear it off the pointless thought. Am I just shaken because I heard this has something to do with shadows? Eventually, the check-in process is complete and the announcement to begin boarding echoes through the airport. I relax a little, believe that nothing has happened to this point. Once the plane takes off, the only thing in our way is the sky. I had put on an earpiece turned to the police radio to keep up with the current situation. So far, nothing was out of the ordinary. Kirijo-san's group finished checking in and had boarded the plane. The cargo should be loaded soon. After I supervise that, I'll check in and just as I think that, an urgent voice jumped onto the band.
Aircraft squawk code has changed to 7500.
7500.
I have trouble mentally shifting gears after the long period of inactivity. I never imagined I would hear the numbers with my own ears.
7500? A hijacking?
Is the plane I'm investigating being hijacked? That can be a coincidence. But could this have been set up by the police or the Kirijo group? No, there's no benefit for either of them to get involved with the general public. If that's the case...
Is it the cargo they want?
There really is someone after the cargo. Wait, if they're after the cargo, why hijack the plane? If they're not trying to steal the cargo, could they be after Kirijo-san? No, that doesn't feel right. Hijacking isn't an efficient method to carry out a kidnapping or an assassination. If they have the time and the resolve to pull this off, they would be far better off trying to take over the plane in mid-flight. I can't figure out their objective. Why would they do something that attracts so much attention? Attention? This is a very peculiar time to attempt a takeover of the plane. Very peculiar indeed. Hijacking before departure forfeits the biggest benefit of hijacking. But at the same time, all normal output operation will come to a halt while everyone turns their focus on the plane in question. The airport will naturally stop loading baggage onto the plane while the hijacking goes on. It's the perfect distraction. So they are after the cargo.
If that was the case, the hijacking is only a decoy. But would they really risk their lives hijacking a plane over one piece of cargo?
As I think, I scan the area from my viewpoint up in the boarding area. I see a van that had been parked near the cargo area suddenly peel out. A suspicious departure at this time. I have a bad feeling about this, but the cargo was just unloaded right in front of my eyes. I didn't see anyone steal it. Hold on. The 4 men in suits with the hands card. I don't see them. I lost track of them in the rush of activity after the hijack call. I grind my teeth and interrupt the radio call.
002, over. A suspicious vehicle is leaving the scene. Stay in pursuit. It's a large vehicle, about 2 tons. License plate.
I heard someone confirm with Roger, but there's shouting and confusion going on in the background. I'm not sure if my intention has been understood. I run across the airport by myself. I need to grab hold of these people's tail, even if only to get a few hairs. Of course, there's no way that I can catch a vehicle on foot, but I have a plan. I run down the escalator and bolt to the passenger pickup area at the rifle lobby. I'll run outside and there it is, just as I thought. The suspicious vehicle was coming this way. The airport route's layout is a loop. After leaving the departure lobby, cars must take a turn and curve back around to the rifle lobby before being able to reach the surface street. I hide in the crowd and wait for the fan to get close. And as it passes by, I throw a small sticky lump at the fan. Luckily for me, it strikes and sticks low on the fan side. There's a compact transmitter in there. I have to be pretty close to pick up the signal, but it's better than nothing. I take my hat off and wipe my forehead. The pedestrians around me begin to stare. Everyone stops and stares at their smartphone. I didn't need to look. I knew. The first news of the hijacking is hitting the media. I put my head back on and pull the brim low. I'll have to be careful not to let all the information flying about confuse me. I keep my guard up and I quickly walk back to the departure lobby. Another 45 minutes pass without any more clear information coming through. There's chaos on the radio and people are in a panic. But after an hour, the confusion suddenly stopped and a shocking reports come in over the radio.
All personnel on scene. The suspects have been apprehended. The hijacking is over. I repeat.
They dealt with it so soon?
Though some passengers were ill, there were no casualties. As far as I know, the hijackers didn't even make any demands. It's hard to think that the police could have negotiated with them. But on the other hand, there's no indication that the special assault team has stormed the plane. The group surrendered now that their decoy objective was complete.
What's going on here?
Just then, a radio call came in directly from me.
Operator to 002, over. The hijacking has been dealt with, but the transfer must be cancelled. The whereabouts of one piece of cargo cannot be confirmed. All indications are that it has been stolen.
Then that vehicle earlier. Are you still in pursuit?
We're tracking it through the N system. Head to the guest room immediately so we can discuss our response.
Looks like my call to report that suspicious van had not been a mistake.
Understood.
Soon after, the impulse authorities were gathered in the VIP room. Kiryu-san and the police are talking hurriedly. But because there's a lot of confidential information being discussed, it was unexpected that there will be some difficulties in communicating. At any rate, the fans on the run can be tracked through the AND system. Hijackers were handed over to the airport police, while those of us who knew the truth about the cargo were moved to one of their buildings.
That was a very tidy operation. I had thought it would take at least half a day.
To put it delicately, we had someone with special abilities handling this. Then again, though we prevented any harm from coming to the hostages, we lost the cargo.
Nothing for it, I suppose. Who would have expected an entire hijacking to cover up the theft of some cargo? I must apologize to you as well. I was the closest at hand when it happened.
No, you did more than enough. It's thanks to your sharp eyes that we're able to track the suspicious vehicle now. I'm impressed that you realized in all the chaos that the cargo was the true target. You even spotted their getaway truck.
Thank you. Our next step should be to interrogate the suspects in custody and...
Sadly, it won't be that simple. I haven't heard much yet, but it seems they're having unexpected difficulties with the interrogation. It will take some time.
If they were prepared to risk their lives for this operation, I suppose they won't break so easily.
We made an error in judgment. We were too focused on preventing the item itself from doing any damage.
But since they targeted something so unusual, that should narrow down the suspect pool.
I can't deny it's possible that someone connected to the Kirijo group is behind this. Thank you for your assistance, Shirogane. I'm sorry to have involved you in this mess, but the professionals will take it from here.
Professional. In other words, she's planning to investigate this herself as a shadow
Does that
operative.
mean my work here is done?
I'm afraid so. We do value your cooperation.
This is a bit of a pickle. The Kirijo group and the police want to keep this under wraps. That is, they cannot open a public investigation. On top of that, the Shadow Operatives are technically an organization working for the police. Technically, there's no room for a freelancer here. Therefore, by my reasoning, there's no need for me to be involved in the investigation any further. Refusing to back down, however, would only draw attention. With no other choices, I decide to take my leave. It must have been chaos at the office. Despite the unusual events, the man who hired me has not yet gotten in touch with me. I entertained the thought of returning home to Inaba, but luckily enough, I brought enough luggage for a short trip out of town. I decided to stay the night at a business hotel near the airport and wait a while for my client to contact me. Time passed. At 9 o'clock, I finally received a phone call from the man.
Things have taken an unexpected turn. This case is under the jurisdiction of the Shadow Operatives now.
That will make it very difficult to continue my secret investigation.
But right now, you're the only one we have who's gotten that close. We heard you earned Kirijo's trust after the hijacking. We'd like you to keep up your investigation. We're currently making arrangements for you to pick it up again in a natural way.
What are you gonna have me do? I will not act as a spy.
I'll be in touch later.
He hangs up without warning from our plane. Reply. I sigh. I feel a weight in my heart. This has a high possibility of turning into a private investigation from the shadows. Pretty much a part with saying corporate espionage. If I'm to take on this job, I need to have some sort of plan. At any rate, I cannot plan my movement without knowing how the situation is progressing. It would be far better to prepare for tomorrow instead of getting worked up with worry. I read the newspaper and watch some of the TV coverage of the 2 days event, then go to bed early. A day passed, and even by the night of May 2nd, the man has not contacted me again. It seems the police are having trouble zeroing on the suspicious vehicle. Considering the scale with which the crime was pulled off, I wouldn't be surprised if that van was dumped somewhere and the cargo loaded onto another vehicle. Going through all the possibilities is just a way to kill time. But that was the only thing I had to do. Nothing happened until the sky began to darken as the sun went down. My phone finally rang, but surprisingly the name on the screen brought a smile to my face.
Yes, Shirogane speaking.
Hi, Nato-kun? Oh, I'm not interrupting your work, am I?
No, it's quite alright.
I'm sorry to call so late. I wanted to at least give it one more shot about tomorrow.
That's right, so much has been happening that I completely forgot that the school holidays start tomorrow. And of course, we're supposed to have our reunion with Yu Senpai when he visits from the city tomorrow. I was supposed to be able to meet up with them. I didn't imagine that I'd be stuck in here for 3 days thanks to the stamp hijacking at the airport. But since I've undertaken the job, I have obligation that I can't just abandon. I'm starting to actually feel some anger toward whoever the culprits are.
I'm sorry, but it seems I still won't be able to make it. I'm actually not in Inaba at the moment, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that. Oh, then I guess you can't check even if it rains.
Even if it rains?
Oh, nothing. Just talking to myself.
What was that?
Okay, Nato-kun. I know there are people who'd be in trouble without you. You need to stay there and help them out.
Yes, well...
Help them out? Huh? It irritates me to know that what I'm going to do is pretty much spy work.
It really is a shame. Give my regards to Senpai and the others, won't you?
Will do. Good luck with the job.
I hang up on the phone. Seeing my dear senpai again, I feel that's much more important than a job with an uncertain outcome, and I feel a little sad that I'm going to miss it. Maybe I should just turn the case down and make a surprise visit tomorrow.
I wonder if any train would make it in time.
But it looks like the case is not about to let me leave. Yes, after my talk with Chie-san, I was preparing for that. And the public safety official called me again.
It seems we may be back on for the secret investigation. Mitsuru Kirijo just requested our cooperation. We agreed. A detective by the name of Kurosawa will be heading out tomorrow. We want you to accompany him to the rendezvous point.
When I asked about this Kurosawa fellow, I received an unanticipated answer. Apparently he had helped Kirijo-san activities on his own while he was a constable. Even though his superior didn't understand what Kirijo-san was up to, he followed his own instinct and helped her to protect his town. Normally he would be punished for this, but the situation took a 180-degree turn thanks to the establishment of the Shadow Operative. His knowledge has been infallible, and rather than being disciplined, he had been promoted to plainclothes detective.
Kurosawa is willing to leak you whatever info he learns about the Kirijo group through his cooperation with them.
I'm surprised he agreed to that. Hasn't he assisted Kirijo-san and her group in the past?
I'm afraid that's something you'll have to ask him about, although he seems to have his own agenda.
I confirmed several other details before ending the call. Detective Kurosawa. If he's working with the Kirijo group, it could be something of a problem. But if they have information to leak, that means they must have located the vehicle in question. Still, considering how long it took them to find it, I may be in for a long trip. Where am I going to be sent now? I shrugged to myself. The next day, May 3rd, I met with Detective Kurosawa. Expected someone who looked seedier, but the man appeared hardworking and honest.
I'm Kurosawa.
I'm Naoto Shirogane. Thank you for your assistance.
I've heard rumors about you, Ace Detective. Let's get going.
We make our greeting brief and get into Detective Kurosawa's car. A private investigation in a location that I have no prior knowledge of or experience of. This was a depressing job in the first place, and the addition of more and more unknown variables only making me more displeased with it.
You seem pretty listless.
Oh no, I'm fine. Where are we headed, by the way?
The place where they found the getaway car from the hijacking. A town called Inaba. It's a small place with an odd history. They just had a bizarre serial murder case there last year.
Inaba?
I can't stop the surprise from showing in my
That's
voice.
your hometown, right? Isn't that why they're sending you?
I'm at a loss for words, but Detective Kurosawa continued instead of waiting for me to
The
reply.
request I got from the Shadow Operatives was to assist in gathering information about those murders. They want me to meet with a supervising detective of that case and ask him for the full story. Not only are they part of public safety, they're an unofficial unit. They can't come to the district police for information.
Why him? Is his case related to the robbery in some way?
Public safety is sharper than you might think. They do basic reviews on all cases to see if shadows were involved. Inaba is on their watch list now. And with that cargo being brought there, they naturally suspect a connection between the cases.
If there is connection, then it might be related to our case. I begin to have ominous thought and my expression darkens. But Detective Kurosawa doesn't probe into that topic. Perhaps he's the type of person who doesn't judge people based on evidence but gets a feel for them through conversation. Wait, sorry guys. Perhaps this person doesn't judge people based on evidence, but get a feel for them through conversation and action. How am I reflected in his eyes? I can't help but wonder. Detective Kurosawa goes inside the Inaba police station while I wait in the car near the junkyard. Sorry, I got a stomachache. Wait. Detective Kurosawa goes inside the Inaba police station while I wait in the car near the junkyard. The familiar sights of Inaba seem strange somehow. The detective in charge of this case must be none other than Dojima-san, Detective Ryotaro Dojima. Of course, I am familiar with him, and not just as a fellow piece of piecer. Dojima-san acts as Yu Senpai's guardian while he stays in Inaba. I feel like I'm betraying him as well and can't stop myself from sighing again. Soon enough, Detective Kurosawa steps out of the station. I thought he was coming back. But halfway to the car, he turns and walks into the junkyard. I wonder what he's doing. I stick my head out of the window and try to track him. There's another car parked behind a pile of junk. That distinctive grill style? That's Kirijo-san's limousine. I hurriedly pulled my head back into the car. That's right, Detective Kurosawa came here to cooperate with Kirijo-san. But still, to bring me along and park so close to her is... Then again, it's very unnatural to park far from the rendezvous point. Detective Kurosawa made the right decision. I calm down and slide into the rear seat, keeping my head low. Still, Kirijo-san used that black limousine while undertaking her Shadow Operative duties as well. The guard sticks out like sore thumbs here in Naba. Heck, it's distinctive anywhere in Japan. How would someone as clever as Kirijo-san take that car on a special mission like this? Does he have some profound reasoning behind it? After a while, Detective Kurosawa finally comes back to the car.
Kurosawa-san, may I ask you something? Why are you working with public safety?
You're asking that now? I thought that would be your very first question.
After wiping his wry smile from his face, Detective Kurosawa turns to me with an incredibly serious expression.
You can spy on Mitsuru Kirijo and her Shadow Operatives to your heart's content and never find anything suspicious. But for that to be understood, at some point or another, everything she does has to be investigated to eliminate those doubts. In which case, it's better someone like you do the investigating than someone official who will never understand. That's all there is to it.
So he does have his reason after all.
Thank you for your cooperation.
I'll leave the rest in your hands.
I exit the vehicle and Kurosawa-san takes his car onto the highway and speeds out of sight. He has no doubt whatsoever regarding Kirijo-san activities. To be honest, I'm inclined to agree with him, but I can't jump to conclusion without any evidence. I use heaps of junk as cover to sneak close to the limousine and watch. Not long after, I see two people exit the vehicle. One of them is Kirijo-san. However, unlike when I saw her at the airport, she's wearing equipment likely suited for combat. The other person looks strange.
Is that the fabled humanoid weapon?
There was information about a humanoid weapon mixed in with all the data I had about the Kirijo group. When I first saw it, I was confused, but that had to be what was standing in front of me. It seems natural, almost lifelike, but there's no denying that it's an artificial construct. It seemed that the rumors of an unorthodox anti-shadow units were true. Another man's come to join them soon. He too was dressed in an outlandish attire. He was shirtless and wore a red cloak like a desert nomad. He's the perfect example of someone without to be detained for questioning. I compare his face to the list of pictures of the people involved with the situation. While his taste in clothing has changed, I believe that this man is Akihiko Sanada. I can't imagine what would possess him to go about dressed like that, but I speculate about their actions. What business do they have here? in a junkyard. There's nothing here but a pile of broken household electronics and abandoned television. Then it hits me. Detective Kurosawa had told Kirijo-san about last year's incident. And of course, he has prior knowledge of personas and shadows. Then no doubt she's heard of the idea of entering the TV world. After all, it appears many times in the testimony of the killer from last year. Dojima-san may have disregarded it for being too far-fetched, but Detective Kurosawa must have caught on. I take a closer look. There's a mountain of old television sets, victim of last year's switch to digital broadcast.
They're not planning to enter a TV from here, are they?
Even as I say that, the mechanical girl already has her hand sticking into a TV screen. Exactly as I told. The mere fact that they are testing what they heard so recently cannot bode well. Uncertainty crossed my mind. The three of them are clearly preparing to enter the television. Should I blow my cover and warn them about what they're doing? If they enter, they may not be able to leave. But the other world should no longer be dangerous anymore. And I heard from Yosuke Senpai that he asked Daddy to leave the exit TV out, just in case. If they're Persona user, they should be able to handle the shadow. They shouldn't be in any peril, but... However, Kirijo-san made a decision faster than I could. Yeah, this is the last time we watched the scene, so yeah. Yay!
The other members will wait here in the car.
Yeah. If we all barge in and something happens, we'll be devastated.
Now that you mention it, at least one of us should be staying behind as well.
I am not staying.
Us three will be plenty. We'll end this in a flash. No problem.
The same as always. Although, we have no idea what might be waiting for us on the other side. Don't get careless.
Right.
This situation, it brings back memories.
Ready!
Why enter the TV? What's going on?
I stand there blankly.
The stolen cargo inside the TV?
Should I chase after them? If I turn back here, we may never be able to find the three of them again. And if that happens, the truth about the case will be lost forever. If her property was placed into the TV world, it means that whoever stole it knows the truth about last year's events. If that's the case, then I can't ignore this, no matter what my assigned task is. Plus,
Well, if they're determined to enter the TV despite not knowing the risks, I can hardly allow cowardice to prevent me from following.
I realize that the straw breaking the camel's back is not logic, but my pride, and I smile to myself. But my mind was made up. Stand up, look around, and step inside the same television they use.